Good evening, I'm Saraya Mia and you're watching AWANI Tonight. A total of 221 seats will be contested for GE15 this Saturday instead of 222. This is after Pakatan Harapan's candidate for the Padang Serai parliamentary seat in Kedah, M. Karupaya, passed away just 3 days before polling day. PKR confirmed Karupaya's passing today. He was believed to have been hospitalized for a fall and subsequently died. According to election law, the entire process, including nomination, must be redone. The Election Commission will meet this Friday to set the key dates for a by-election in Padang Serai. Karupaya won the seat in GE14 with a majority of 8,813 votes. The Army veteran was slated to defend the seat in a six-cornered fight this Saturday, facing BN's Sivaraj Chandran and Perikatan National's Azman Nasruddin, among others. The five-cornered fight in Tanjong Karang will not include its six-term incumbent Tan Sri Noh Omar. Farhana Sheh breaks down all you need to know.
Thank you, Mia. Now, Tanjong Karang has been in the spotlight during nomination day with its incumbent not in the running, Tan Sri Noh Omar, but we get into that a bit later. Now, we will look at the demographics of Tanjong Karang. Divided into racial composition, we have Malay at 78.2%, so it's a clear Malay-majority seat here. Chinese at 13.0%, Indian at 8.5%, and others at 0.4%. Now, Selangor has 22 parliamentary seats, 16 of them are under Pakatan Harapan, not Tanjong Karang. Tanjong Karang has been under BN since 1995, under its sixth-term incumbent and also Selangor BN chief Tan Sri Noh Omar. Now, let's look at the electoral history back in GE14. Noh Omar won not as much as he would hope for at 43.45%. Trailing not far behind is Zulkifli Hanafi under PH at the time at 38.58%. There's only about 5% difference here, about 2,000 plus voters. It's interesting to note here, if you look at past elections before GE14, where Noh Omar has won, the second runner-up are both past candidates. So GE13, there's Muhammad Rashdi Diraman. GE12, there's Hanapi Maidin. So in both times, the second runner-up, and as compared to Noh Omar, there's only about 4,000 voters. This time around in GE14, Nur Azlan Ahmad under PAS won at 17.97 at third place. So that's a little bit of the electoral history for GE14. Now, GE15, Noh Omar will no longer be defending his seat. Replacing him is Habibah Muhammad Yusof, who is also Tanjong Karang Umno Women's Chief. Zulkifli Hanafi will still be there, but now under Perikatan National. He'll probably have the advantage of being in an alliance with PAS, whom we've seen has quite a few number of supporters in Tanjong Karang. Replacing him under Pakatan Harapan is muda candidate Siti Rahayu Baharin. There's also Azlan Sani Zawawi under Pejuang, and an independent candidate and an UMNO Tanjong Karang committee member running as an independent candidate, Muhammad Rosni. So Tanjong Karang is much like any other seat in Selangor. It's a five-cornered fight, so there's a lot of candidates in one seat. But the main question here really, with the political rift within BN and UMNO, which resulted in Noh Omar not defending his seat, as well as, not to mention, there's an UMNO candidate here running as independent. Will this BN stronghold finally falls into another hand? That we will soon find out. Back to you, Mia.
Thanks, Farhana. And now, as mentioned, Tanjong Karang is a BN stronghold seat with incumbent MP Tan Sri Noh Omar serving the constituency for 6 terms. With the internal rift in UMNO, what do the prospects look like for another to take over the seat? Let's bring in political analyst from USM, Professor Dr. Siva Murugan Pandian. Thanks for joining us, Prof.
Thank you.
UMNO has decided to drop the Tanjong Karang incumbent Tan Sri Noh Omar, replacing him with the local division UMNO Women's Chief Habibah Muhammad Yusof for GE15. How will this affect the chances for BN to retain the seat, Prof?
Yeah, Tanjong Karang became the focus because the current MP dropped, even though he is still the Selangor State UMNO chairman. He went to the extent to say that his seat was stolen from himself. So I think in the first week, we saw there was internal fighting, who couldn't accept Habibah as their candidate. But then eventually, I think the party have solved the internal problem, and the BN is still most likely to win the seat, because most of the voters in this area, which I see as a rural area, are affiliated with the symbol of the party that represent the UMNO and Barisan Nasional, rather than looking at the personality itself.
Right, Prof. Now still on the topic of the UMNO rift, we understand that former UMNO Division Committee Muhammad Rosni Mastul is also contesting as independent to protest against the removal of Noh Omar. What are your thoughts on this, Prof?
Well, he may gain some votes out of it, but I don't think he'll be able to outcome Habibah's loyalies, and also looking at the symbol that's been used. And also, we must understand that Habibah is the woman wing chief of Tanjong Karang division. And I think that would allow her to play a vital role, and also pertinent to look at the symbol that been carried in the ballot paper, rather than the presence of an independent candidate who may split some vote. In fact, he may lose his deposit at this area, I think.
Right, Prof. Based on the past results, Tanjong Karang voters are heavily in favor of BN. But can the same be said among the younger voters? What are the chances for Pakatan Harapan Muda candidate Siti Rahayu Baharin in Tanjong Karang?
Yeah, Muda candidate, who's fondly known as Cikgu Rahayu Baharin, definitely will be relying on the Pakatan Harapan machinery. The issue here is she's not a local, but she's an outsider, and she's also facing another contestant who has contested here earlier under Pakatan Harapan Bersatu banner, Zulfikri, and also although he lost, he's recontesting again in this constituency. It is worth to watch to what extent Cikgu Rahayu would be able to get some votes from the split that happened in UMNO, and at the same time, those who are frustrated with the departure or decision to leave Pakatan Harapan by Bersatu to form Perikatan Nasional.
Right, I understand that with what you said, perhaps BN may still have a chance to retain the seat in Tanjong Karang. Now, moving away from Tanjong Karang and focus on the latest news of the death of Padang Serai Pakatan Harapan candidate M. Karupaya earlier today. How does this affect PH's campaign there, Prof?
Yeah, the election regulation 1981 clearly states that EC will call for an by-election in the event when a nominated candidate dies. And definitely the by-election will be held in a separate date. I don't think the campaign will affect Pakatan Harapan nationally, and they will be given another chance to participate in the election on another date. And I think the other other candidates would be able to still continue with their campaign, and the new candidate from Pakatan Harapan will also be able to be given ample time to campaign when the EC decides for a new date on the 18th November 2022.
All right, thank you for your insights, Prof. Now, stay tuned on Astro AWANI for more GE15 news in the coming days. Why did Khairi Jamaluddin publicly announce his ambition to be PM in the near future? Was this a shrewd campaign narrative, or an effort to inject transparency into political culture? Tonight on Consider This, we ask him if his admission on the stump has put a target on his back. With just a few days to polling day, all parties are in a mad scramble to cement their support among the fence-sitters. We ask MCA Deputy Secretary General Dr. Pamela Yong on how MCA is positioning itself to win over this elusive group.
There are voters just sitting on the fence across races. And our survey also shows that they're most concerned with the political instability And secondly, the current and continuing economic downturn the country and the world is facing. So in G14, you see, we see a highest voter turnout for any election in the history of Malaysia. Yeah, there was so much hope, there was so much excitement. But then we're looking at this trend, this undecisiveness, this political apathy. Then we are wondering, what's happened since GE14. So then we're looking at possibly, the voters are very disappointed with the Pakatan Harapan government that they voted for. We changed government 3 times and prime minister 3 times in a short term of 4 years. But thank goodness we're not holding the highest record now. Give it to the UK for that, for changing 4 prime ministers. But we know that political instability is the crux of the problem. So MCA, Barisan Nasional, narrative to court dismiss sitting voters is to bring back stability. Hence our tagline, Kestabilan dan Kemakmuran. We offer the people a tried, tested and trusted Barisan Nasional brand, which has 60 years of track record.
Meanwhile, on the topic of women empowerment, Pamela said women in MCA are given roles and responsibilities according to their strength and qualities, which goes to show that empowering women can be more than just fielding them as candidates.
Under the leadership of Datuk Sri Wee Ka Siong, the current president, we saw the first ever Women Secretary General of MCA being appointed. That is Datin Paduka Chumifan. And then we saw also the first ever Women Youth Chief. She contested amongst men and women, and she was elected to be the first youth chief, and she's a woman, Nicole Wong, who is currently contesting the Tebrau seat. And she's also, kena diangkat as a senator, appointed as a senator, and the youngest as well. So, our publicity chief, Chan Quinn, she's also a woman, and she's at the moment traveling all over the country, up and down, assisting all of our candidates, and not forgetting myself. I'm helming the position of a Deputy Secretary General of MCA from Sabah, East Malaysia, okay? And I'm keeping the house in order while my Secretary General is out at war. He is contesting the route, and as well as all the other leaders are out at war. So, and that is the beauty of MCA.
Nobody should be afraid to speak up, regardless of their gender, says DAP's Sharlina Abdul Rashid. The incumbent Seri Delima Assembly person, who is running for the Bukit Bendera constituency this GE15, talks about giving more platform for women to pursue politics.
And look, if you have something that you want to voice out, something to share, then say it. You should not let your gender, create that barrier for you to voice out. In other words, this is where policymakers or even government structures, this is where it's very important for organizations as well as government structures to create that platform for women, to empower women. A good example would be in Penang. We do have the Penang Women's Development Corporation, which is it's also a state initiative, a state department. Basically, it's often seen as a one-stop resource center for women who are interested in politics. And also PWDC has all these workshops and programs to help instill, skills as simple as public speaking, for example, and how to carry on debates. So there are a lot of tools and programs for women to come up and be seen. It's just right now, I do believe that it's up to other women to empower everybody else and just say, hey, let's create a movement. Let's do it as one team.
Sharlina acknowledges that with Malaysia's fragmented politics, wooing fence-sitters and disenchanted voters would be an uphill battle this GE15.
Sit down and have that heartfelt conversation with people. I mean, that's just something that I've always done, which is if you have concerns, let's sit down. Kita duduk, kita bincang. I want to hear what you have to say. So right now, it's a battle to save the country. And I often tell people, look, on the 19th of November, go out to vote because this, the fate of the country rests upon people going out to vote. Regardless of what issues you may have, we all want one thing. We want a better country for everybody else, all this generation in Malaysia.
Before we end the show tonight, let's hear your thoughts on GE15. The question of the day is, do you know which coalition published the most content on TikTok? Share your answers by scanning the QR code on the screen, where results of these questionnaires will be revealed daily. That's all for Awani Tonight. I'm Saraya Mia. We'll see you again.